Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. We'll be right back with Dan, but first, let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Violet Defense for their support of the Educational AD podcast. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information about their products. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com to find out more. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. I promise you, you will come away very impressed. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started with your digital Wall of Fame tribute, call them at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. We also want to thank Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, use Huddle to raise the level of play in their athletes and their teams using video and analytics. Huddle is the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools and colleges, and even professional teams are using Huddle to help their teams play better. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the teams you're trying to get your kids recruited to. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director's Toolbox segment of the podcast. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also puts you in touch with the 95% of the parents and the players who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to check the pulse of your parents or your athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the pros at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. And we want to thank our good friends at Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your program by going to hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD podcast and episode number 16 of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. For any of you new listeners, Dan's a certified master athletic administrator, longtime athletic director in the state of Florida, also very active, at the national level, working with the mentoring committee. And I've got to throw this out there. Over the weekend, it was announced that Dan will be part of the inductee group for the class of 2022 in the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Hall of Fame. So welcome, Dan, and congratulations.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah.
Today, I think I want to talk about administrative role of the athletic director. As an athletic director, you have a lot of hats to wear. One of them, not so glamorous, is the administrative part of the job, but it is so important to make sure that you're up on everything that needs to be done as far as paperwork and budgets and paper trails. So I think it's important to talk about a few of the tricks of the trade, so to speak, to make your job a little bit easier when it comes to administrative duties. One thing I encourage athletic directors to do is have a philosophy and a mission statement and have that printed on your website. It reeks of professionalism to know that you do have a philosophy and a mission statement for your athletic department as a whole. And I would encourage you to have your coaches do the same thing for their particular teams, mirroring what you say as an athletic department. And I think that's part of the hiring process to make sure your coaches are on board with your philosophy and your mission statement. And again, publish it on your website so that parents, students, coaches, the media can see your philosophy for educational-based sports, not entertainment-based sports. And coaches can be a vital entity to assist you in the various administrative duties that you will have over the course of a year. And I want to talk about a little bit about what those coaches can do for you and when the buck stops, it stops with you on certain issues. So we'll talk about that right after the break.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're sharing this because it's one of those things that you sometimes have to learn, through trial and error, learn the hard way. And if you can get out in front of it, it can just really make it much more enjoyable experience for you as well as your kids and your coaches. On philosophies too, it's not necessarily, you mentioned educational athletics versus entertainment. There's a lot of different philosophies that are all good, but having yours articulated, having it written out, as you said, having it on the website can really help, cut off some potential problems. So looking forward to hearing more about this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. Please stay with us. We want to thank Vital Signs by Wall of Fame for helping support the Educational AD podcast. Vital Signs is on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For more ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute, call them at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also gives you access to the 95% of the parents and the players who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466 or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to check the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the pros at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We're back with Mentoring Minute and Dan Comeau. Dan, you were talking about the importance of having a philosophy, a mission statement. So, what are some things that would go into that?
I think basically you would talk about how you view student athletes, that education comes first. That's why you're in high school, so that you do get an education. Athletics is just a part of that education. And as you know, you learn so much on an athletic venue that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom. It's just an extension of the classroom. And I think it's important to let parents and students and your coaches know that that's important to you. When I had parent meetings or talked about to the freshmen that were coming in, all I talked about was the educational part of athletics. The teams, the records, that just comes on its own. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It's a roller coaster every year. But I think that those are the important things that need to be stressed about educational-based sports, because you just don't see it on television. You don't see educational-based sports. You see tantrums, you see, fits, you see arguments. My best example is hockey. I played hockey throughout my life, and everybody thinks, oh, they're fighting all the time. College and high school is the same thing. You fight in hockey, you're out 6 weeks. So it's the finesse and the talent that is on the ice. The fights, that's entertainment. But now I want to talk about some administrative roles for the athletic director. First of all, eligibility of student athletes, that falls on you as an athletic director. You have grades you need to keep up with, paperwork you need to keep up with, courses that the kids have to take and the coaches have to take. That eligibility falls on you. If a student comes in without the proper paperwork and they get hurt, ultimately the athletic director is going to get reprimanded or just nailed on that one. As I was coming up the ranks as an athletic director, our trainers took care of the paperwork. And that's all well and fine, but you must trust and you have to verify that paperwork is done right, because all you need is a kid to go down and not have a physical, or the grades were bad, and you're going to get fined heavily by the state. I don't care what state you're in, it's going to happen. So that's probably your most important part of the administration part of your job. I think financial records is important. A lot of people don't know, but you have to keep financial records for at least 3 years. And if you have money involved, I would make sure that when you're counting the money and putting it away, bringing it to your bookkeeper, that there's a second person involved, so that you have a paper trail and you have I guess you'd call it a trust fund, that everybody would know that it has been taken care of correctly. And again, you have to keep those records for about 3 years. So have a file cabinet, in a back room. I think budget, ticket sales, all that kind of thing is important. If you have a wall of fame, I think your coaches can help you with that. Vital Signs, our sponsor that was just on, they can help you put together a effective wall of fame for your students and your coaches. This is where your coaches come in. They can help you keep records, because if you have to keep records of every sport that you have, it's going to take a while, and you're going to miss something. Have your coaches, as part of their job, to keep records of the student athletes as they go on. Inventories, you should have a file on inventories, and your coaches need to be able to do an inventory so that they can present it to you, and you know what's needed at the end of the season or for the following season. Schedule uniform purchases. You know, a lot of times I had a new coach come in and, well, I'm going to be the new coach, so I want a new uniform. Well, you just got one last year, so you're going to have to deal with it for a couple more years. So unless they want to do a fundraiser for it, NCAA regulations, it's very important to stay up with that. If there's a course going on, make sure your coaches get to that course along with you. Oftentimes, the guidance counselor is 2-3 years behind schedule when it comes to NCAA rules because they change every year. And unless you have a guidance counselor dedicated to NCAA, it's going to fall through the cracks. And again, you know, scheduling and transportation, make sure your coaches are involved with that. What time do they want to leave? And it gives them ownership to the administration part of it. So that's what I have for today, Jake.
Wow. As you were going through those lists, again, you and I are both retired, but just remembering all those facets of that administrative role, you know, the finances, you talked about uniforms. If I had to listen to a football coach ask for a fourth uniform, oh, I need a camo uniform to honor the troops. Oh my goodness. Yeah, having all those things in place really make it easier for an athletic director to, you know, stay on top of all those administrative challenges. As always, Dan, if somebody wants to reach out, one of our listeners, and pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
My email address is dcomeau at 19 at Forgot my number.
There you go. DComo19, that old hockey number at Comcast.com. Dan Comeau, thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again next week with another Mentoring Minute. For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of all of these interviews are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Come back again next time for more of the Educational AD and the Mentoring Minute. We also want to thank Huddle for their support. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, use Huddle to elevate the performance of their teams and their athletes with video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play. From club and youth teams up through high schools and colleges, and even pro teams are using Huddle to help them play better. You're in really good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college teams you're trying to get to recruit your kids. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and your program, or how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. And we also want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you by going to hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing.